What's up, y'all? Today we're at McCollum Studio Architects, whom we have a variety of upcoming custom and spec projects with. Today, we're gonna look at the 3D model of one of our most badass specs ever, and then also talk about all the upcoming work we have. I wanna take you along for the ride so you can see what it's like to work with a high-end architect, and also so you can get a first look at our badass spec. I'm gonna go over a few things that I consider when speaking with an architect. So this is a brand new spec home. We're looking at a plus $5 million purchase price on this home. So this is extremely important. The first thing that I consider in this meeting and all architects meetings is wow factor. What is a wow factor? A wow factor is something that separates you from your competition, where someone looks at this house and they just go, wow, that looks thoughtful. That's inspiring. Or maybe even they hate it. Maybe it's somewhat polarizing, right? So when you take some of these risks, you definitely want to make sure that they pay off with the majority of people, but not everyone's going to like it, and that's okay. First off, we have a very special lot. If you look at a lot of these details, we have exposed rafter tails underneath our soffits. We have some pitched roof lines. We have awning windows that open up like a garage door. All of this Japanese cedar that you see cladding the house. A lot of these wow factor elements, they can be brought up by you. Maybe your wow factor is simply a metal roof. Maybe it's brick on the outside. Maybe it's steel windows, right? So your wow factor, it doesn't have to be on this scale. But I think even when you're doing something that's a little more straightforward, at any price point, you can have a wow factor. That might just be a great picture window that's looking out into your backyard, right? Find some type of feature on your lot or on your house and accentuate it. Try to envision how you would live on this yard, how you would entertain, and just think about always elevating that. And you can do that at any price point. Now that the wow factor is there, another critically important element is just flow and functionality. And again, your architect is the pro here. You can lean on all of their advice and honestly let them guide your way, but still do not be afraid to speak up. Hey, show me a furniture layout in this living room. It looks a bit tight. Or think about functionality goes hand in hand with natural light. How can I see when I'm in this home, right? Do I need, artificial light all over the place? Where is the sun? What way does my view face? So a great architect, all of these trees that you see on this plan, these are literal trees on our lot. This is oriented where the sun is casting so they can show me at different times during the day, what is our light doing, right? So you go through these plans with the architect and you say, you know what? This pantry feels a bit tight. What can we do to bump that out? Look at the sizes and shapes of a room. Is this a long, narrow room? Do we want it more wide? What is the purpose? What's the view in this room? You want to try to make each room special. What I find is that great architects will show you the path, but the more experienced you are, the more insight that you can give your architect and even come up with new and fresh ideas to just ever make this project better. But do not be afraid to speak up. Okay, now onto one of the most frustrating things. So it's like you have this beautiful concept, you've worked out a wonderful floor plan, but now we have to make sure that we're compliant with codes and lot restraints. In Austin, the size of trees, if you're over a 19-inch diameter, impedes where we can build our homes. You have to be outside of what's called the critical root zone. We also have all of these rules on how much concrete you can put on your lot. Your house has to be 25 feet from the street or the front setback, 5 feet from the sides, 10 feet from the rear. A huge consideration is parking. All of that concrete gets added to our grand total. Now we have to take that out of our foundation, or we have to do even decks count as half the amount, right? A pool, they don't count the water, but they count what's called the coping around it. So there's all these different things that are going to just really piss you off because you're going to have this amazing design and then you're going to realize, oh, it has to shrink. Oh, we have to cut back here. We can't, we have a height restriction here. Then if you have tall trees, you can only prune 25% of the tree. So maybe you have a second story or a giant branches that you may or may not be able to cut. So my advice here is be very flexible. A big thing that I anchor myself to is when there is something strange that like forces a restriction on your lot, instead of hiding it, accentuate it. Try to make it purposeful to where you're capitalizing on this. Don't make it look goofy, make it look thoughtful. Okay, this one is always fun. We are rectifying our cost of construction with our anticipated budget. Now, obviously, when you meet with an architect, especially a high-end architect like McCollum Studio, they're gonna wanna wow you. They're gonna come in with their highest and best plan. Obviously, all of that is going to come at a price. In an ideal world, you can do it all. But this is never ideal. There's always a stage called value engineering. My goal is always to find the intent of the design and get as close as we can. Instead of like removing that wood ceiling entirely, maybe we go from Japanese cedar to an American red cedar. Maybe we make the span of a certain opening a little bit smaller so we could use a wood beam instead of a steel beam. This is never fun, but I will tell you, especially earlier in your career, this could be the most important stage in all of this, because ultimately, if you overbuild, you're not going to get the price that you intended to sell at. And then why the hell did you do the project in the first place, right? I mean, you can look at different roofing and siding materials. We can look at different types of insulation, different types of construction methods. There is so many ways to value engineer. And now, again, I cannot stress this. You do not want to strip the magnificence out of this project. You want to keep as much of that magnificence as you can while keeping on budget. Timeline. When you do a deal and you do what's called a pro forma, you model out all of your economic metrics. How long will we be holding this property? We're going to get a construction loan, and God knows interest is not fun right now. So the longer it takes you to build, the more expensive your project becomes, the less your returns will be. When looking at timeline, there's multiple factors. Can we save any part of this existing house before we tear it down? Can we keep foundation? That is saving us time. Can we keep some walls, even if it's in a general location? Like on this house, we're blowing the whole ceiling off the whole thing, right? But some of these existing walls might be able to stay. We're still looking into all of that. There's other elements on this particular property. It has an existing pool. I think we're going to demo it and do a new one, but if you just have a vacant lot, you obviously don't have that luxury. But another thing, let's say you're doing some things that the city is going to scrutinize highly. You're building very close to a protected tree. You're building inches away from these setbacks or imaginary lines. And in the inner city, that's nearly always the case. Those things are always going to take longer. Look at ways that you're maximizing your buildable square footage, your wow factor, all these other elements, but try to do it in a simple and straightforward way. Sometimes there's ultra custom items, like let's say we're doing a trim, and instead of us custom cutting every one, try to find a piece that's ready to go that you can just install. The same with like millworks and cabinetry and windows. The more complex these elements that you use, the longer your timeline is going to take. If you are doubling your timeline, you're setting yourself up for failure. I always say overestimate on budget, overestimate on timeline, and then hope that you finish faster than you've predicted. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was insightful. I love working with high-end architects and designers. I know it can be intimidating, but I hope this opened your eyes a little bit and made you realize that it's not as tough as it seems. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments below. I'd love to respond. See you all in the next one. I appreciate you.